Right, okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you back to part 84 of Chris Chan, A Comprehensive History, and, well, I'm going to keep this short because, well, we are, for the penultimate episode in this, iconic series, to say the least, last time Chris, was going from complaining about, interactions and being Sonichu. Now it's becoming increasingly obvious that, well, there is now only one thing really left on Chris's mind: sex. And, well, for reasons we're about to get into, well, I think we all know where this is going, and considering that Chris's options were limited to zero, I suppose, this is when, wandering eyes were starting to pry. And, well, there's a little bit more I want to get into about what's going to happen next. Well, insofar, because we're not technically done yet, but I'll get into more later. So, with that being said, here it is, part 84. Never actually crossed myself before doing one of these, but I felt like now is the time.
Fascinated. This is the story of Chris Chan.
Ow, my ears.
On June 3rd, 2021, Christine revealed to her Twitter followers that she had taken up the hobby of reading tarot cards, highlighting that she used the Osho Zen tarot deck and would from then on draw a single card per day, interpreting for herself the meaning of the card based on her own personal situation, and encouraged others to do the same. The card for that day was titled Integration. The next day, her card read Abundance, which she misread as Audience, and alerted to her audience that they would soon witness a show of a lifetime. She would continue drawing daily tarot
Fuck me, they were not wrong.
cards for nearly 2 months. Also on June 4th, a Reddit user and his girlfriend met Chris at the Barnes & Noble bookstore, apparently for the second time, and took selfies together.
Also, you know what? I'm actually just going to use the spacebar to pause these times because I don't want to keep, cutting out of the main screen. I know... Here's the thing. I know that this is probably being brought up, once or twice, but do you suppose Chris is, actually happy, or do you think Chris is trying everything in her power to show that she's happy? I mean, it's... Because every time it's Chris tries to think that if you force, if it goes from ear to ear, then you can convince other people that it's perfectly natural. But honestly, I'll just say it right now. Honestly, I feel like even Chris trying to smile seems an unnaturally creepy process. But, well, if you think that sounds a bit harsh, well, you generally do not know what is coming. Well, there you are.
On June 6th, Christine wrote in the Place Discord server that a My Little Pony themed convention, Everfree Northwest, would be taking place in August 2021 in Washington State, apparently near to where Maker Nightv resided. Chris was considering attending and hinted that Maker could meet up with her if she did. Also on that day, Christine wrote on Twitter that she was currently reading Chapter 8 of the book Warhol Chris Chan by Dawn Lachaume, elaborating that she had found a cure for much of her autism symptoms by means of meditation, chakra activations, and listening.
And in case that sounds familiar, Chris tried to do the exact same thing in 2016, resulting in Chris doing some pretty sick things to her body. So don't if you think this sounds a little bit like a slap in the face, thinking that you could just cure your autism, well, again, even this far down the road, Chris has no... Even at 39, and somebody who keeps boasting on about autism and about what it is, Chris is under the illusion that it's something that can be solved or something that can be cured. again, I know this has been stated before, but Chris's level of like arrogance is nothing short of outstanding and borderline appalling, really, when you think about it.
Listening to binaural beats, and explained that she did not wish for the entire autistic population of the world to be rid of their condition. She then expanded on Valerie Solanas, a radical feminist who had shot Andy Warhol in an attempt to kill him in 1968, and reflected on her own past hatred of men and her matured understanding of herself as part of the LGBTQ community.
Well, if that's true, then why even consider the idea of shooting somebody at all? Shooting somebody has got nothing to do whether you're part of the LGBTQ community. That's just down to, you know, understanding why it's wrong to do something like that. Yeah, and so forth. I was so uncomfortable around boys as a child because I had generally felt a vibe from them that it did not match my own. Right.
She stated, "I have no shame or regret in going on public record stating the following. I like penis-shaped dildos, and I do not mind a genuine cock up my butt. I have also enjoyed a cock-shaped sucker purchased from a Spencer's. Took me about a week to finish that thing. Hashtag I am bisexual." As for Solanas, I do acknowledge the outdated similarity between her and I, but in the end, I simply do not care for nor agree with her ideals, nor what she did. And, frankly, she didn't know biology and anatomy. I can still get a hard-on and horny. And, even if I did lose this cock by chop, there's satisfaction in where that tube goes, as well as up the butt. So, Solanas had nothing, and she got her fated end of jail time. But, as an individual with her own point of view and thoughts, I do not judge her for having them or being herself.
Right, okay, trying to justify someone trying to murder somebody. Right, okay, Chris. You know, it's on occasions like this that maybe we almost take it for granted that Chris spent any time in the clink whatsoever, because supposing Chris kept this a secret, and, well, the you-know-what a secret, and goodness knows what else this would have led to. But then again, as we all know, Chris is too stupid and too much of a psychopath to realize why these things are a bad idea.
And that's my 2 bolts and a heart on Victoria Solanas. Lightning bolt, blue heart, lightning bolt emojis. Now, to end this on a more positive note, and also to note further from hashtag Warhol Christian, I, indeed, have always been effeminate and whatnot growing up, and I did, indeed, struggle with even attempting to keep up with male constructs. But I am so glad I was able to come out and be my lovely goddess self, as I could and should have. No regrets or shame. Also, why I don't have the ALP sooner. There is hardly anyone within driving distance who can do the job, as far as my endocrinologist knows. And then there's the money. At Kickstarter for my thing. But, moreover, I have faith in a physical transformation of my wishes and desires. On June 7th, Christine claimed in a tweet that she did indeed spend time with the console patron units of the anime and game franchise Hyperdimension Neptunia, and that also during a brief period of time after the death of her father Bob, she and her mother Barbara slept in Chris's bedroom, but on separate furniture, with Barbara sleeping on the couch and Christine on the bed, claiming that she and her mother never slept together in the same bed during that time. On June 10th, she posted a poll on Twitter asking her audience to vote for what was the most traumatic event in her life in their opinion, being pinned down to the ground by at least 2 named teachers of Nathaniel Green Elementary School, or the so-called Julie meme, based on the enunciation of the troll Julie's name that Christian shouted out during the video he had made for her, wherein he has sex with an inflatable sex doll.
Thank you for reminding us, Chino. That was 74 episodes ago, by the way.
Public overwhelmingly voted for Julie as the greater harm. She also switched over to her Magichan Sonichu Twitter account to roleplay as her supposed spouse, claiming that he was present and watching as Chris was being pinned down, warning people that they should not vote for a meme, and rather an impactful event that happened during one's formative years.
then why did you give it an option in the first place then? Nothing Chris does make any sense. I know I've said that before, but I can't stop saying it. Nothing Chris does has any rhyme, reason, doesn't make any sense, lacks dissonance, lacks logic, lacks thought, and lacks rationale. And I'm sorry, guys, but this has not just been a thing that's just, like, this is a thing that's been happening for since at least 2001. This has been going on for 20 years. And Chris has never once got better at this. Chris has never developed beyond 2001. Chris literally did not change at all since she was 19 years old. And I legitimately cannot believe. I mean, if I don't care. Fuck it, let's keep going.
The next day, in retaliation of a tweet regarding the new My Little Pony movie, Chris announced that the Generation 5 series was cancelled, and they were currently in the middle of airing Season 11 of the Generation 4 iteration. A Twitter user wrote that Chris could not say things as she wanted them to be, even though they were not true. She replied that the Generation 5 content they saw before them was an illusion. On June 15th, Christine left a lengthy comment on a YouTube video made by the WCT, covering the popularity of lolcow and mass shooter Randy Stair, also known as Andrew Blaze. She highlighted that herself and Blaze had interdimensionally communicated on occasion, and that Blaze fulfilled her prophecy in Dimension 1218. She also explained that herself, Andrew Blaze, and Andy Warhol were examples of interdimensionally awakened individuals.
Randy Stair is an example of an awakened individual, huh? That must have come as a major surprise to all the innocent people that Randy Stair killed. Chris, I never had to pull this one out of my arse before, but I'm gonna say it right now. Chris, you dumb son of a bitch. And you know what? I know I haven't had to pull this one out of my arse for a while, but Chris, I'm not mad. Yes, yes I am. I'm furious, but you know what, Chris? More than anything, I'm just disappointed. Yeah, I'm just disappointed in you, Chris. I wish personally I wish I wasn't. I would love nothing more than to sit here and say that actually Chris managed to overcome herself, and Chris actually managed to get on with things, but no, that's and whether or not I could say any of this would have been the case, whether or not it was for the idea guys or for literally anything else, but no, I guess not.
Also on that day, enabler Helena G. Fiorenza asked Chris if she could help recruit some collaborators for her planned dating simulation game that would focus on Chris. Chris agreed to pass on her offer to the Watchmen. On the 18th, Edmund Macmillan, creator of the video game Binding of Isaac, revealed that Christine had designed a playing card that would be part of a Binding of Isaac-themed card game sold on Macmillan's website. The illustration focused on the titular Isaac, crying on the floor, with an eschew ball within arm's reach. Christine then explained herself that when Macmillan had asked her to illustrate Isaac, she watched several videos about the game made by the Watch Mojo YouTube channel to learn more. She decided to depict Isaac after years of tears dried up under his eyes, who finds a toy eschew ball and finds happiness and peace. The next day, after watching a video of gameplay channel Oni Plays, in which they spontaneously recite a joke regarding Chris Chan.
Why do I call it pepper spray if it's not pepper?
Christine took to Twitter to audio record herself reciting the joke.
Oh man, he made me laugh. They made me laugh. Why would I call it pepper spray if it's not pepper? There you go. You got one eye, me. I like that joke. Why would I call it pepper spray if it's not pepper?
Wow, Chris can't even laugh and make it sound natural either. I mean, I'm not exactly expecting, you know, I'm not expecting, you know, sparkling or anything like that, but okay. Whatever.
Also on that day, Chris recorded and posted onto YouTube a new birthday greeting for a certain Devon.
Hello, everybody. This is Christine Chandler coming to you live from home once again. I and all the other deities know how long. Quite a long time. It's been a long time. I'm sorry. I've been really heavy in meditation. I mean, anyway, I got a birthday greeting to do today, happy. I don't know what day it was, if it's coming up or if it's past or if it's today. I'm not sure. But I mean, I got reminded. So, happy birthday, Devon from Lindsay. And well, happy early, happy belated, happy birthday. You've had one. You're gonna have one. Oh well, time is a illusion when you consider it in some manner.
Chris, can you get on with it and stop this rambling bullshit? I don't think they were asking you to whinge on about the deities or whatever.
Aspects and whatnot, but anyway, so just a little bonus, a little fun, just for you, Devon, and a reference. I'm gonna do something fun, so here's a little song and dance. Random thing. Put the biscuit. Put the biscuit. Put the biscuit. Jumping up and down and see that's anything in the mandible way. Put the biscuit. Fun. Hippie boom ba, yay! Happy birthday, Devon.
Okay. So I know I'm probably going to get a lot of backlash from this. I don't care, but I don't care if I do or not, but whatever. I think I've proven that before. I think this is it's at moments where you see that, and again, where I have to remind people that if you pledge free as minimum as $3 to Chris's Patreon per month, you get absolutely fuck all in return, except a superficial thank you for your patronage or whatever from Chris. But it's in moments like this where if I could reach through my screen and give Chris a slap, I probably would, because what the hell was that? And that wasn't even the first time we've seen Chris just do something completely back in part 63 where Chris did the exact same thing and very nearly kicked Sorbet. I know it was probably an accident, but fuck it, Chris's conception was a fucking accident. It wasn't a miracle, it was a fucking accident waiting to happen.
Afterwards, she uploaded a short video on Twitter of herself playing with her cat, Sylvia. Many viewers noted that the cat seemed to be overweight.
Here, bubblehead kitty. Oh.
I'll go one further than that. That is, Chris, that I would have fucking called animal cruelty immediately. So Sylvia should not be that size. Jesus Christ, Chris, what the hell did you do?
He's so cute. He's so cute. Hello. Hello. Look at you.
Later on, Chris shared a screenshot on Twitter that she took from a YouTube video of a tattoo depicting a so-called furry, or an aficionado of anthropomorphic animals who typically enjoys living life while donning an elaborate costume which helps them to embody their liked creature's characteristics. Christine admitted that she too was a furry, and perceived the tattoo to be a poorly executed example of Chris-chan fan art. Finally, she tweeted that even though she had made orange-flavored Fanta infamous, referencing the 2009 leaked video in which Christian drinks a solution of orange Fanta and his own semen, she also recommended other flavors of Fanta, such as those released in Japan, which one could sample via a subscription to the service Tokyo Treat. On June 20th, in reference to the Binding of Isaac 4 Souls card game to which she contributed artwork, Christine filmed a short video for Twitter.
get on the fun of things with The Binding of Isaac! But also, more importantly,
you could have done with turning your medallion around a little bit, Chris, because we don't want to look at the awful, awful grime and the rotting paint on the back of it. Nobody wants to see that.
the freedom of Isaac! I'd like to see him smile more often.
When a Twitter user dismissively expressed disgust at the state of her Sonichu medallion, Christine replied, hinting that they were possibly actually looking at her breasts.
No, they were not, Chris. Also, where are they?
She then revealed that she had asked her mother what nickname by which she could be called, and claimed that Barbara liked to be referred to as Barb-chan Rosechew. On June 21st, upon seeing a photo of two males with long hair kissing with a large plush doll of Pikachu in the background, Chris claimed that it looked like a distant alternate timeline view of herself and Megan Schroeder, in which they became romantically entangled. Also on that day, Christine told the Watchmen that as she was rereading Chapter 5 of Warhol Christian, wherein Lasham discussed the possessions Chris lost in the house fire of 2014, she became overly stressed while driving the family van and so defecated in her panties.
Why would you say that? Why do we need to know that? I feel freaking sick now, actually, to be honest, hearing that.
Fortunately, her period pad managed to catch much of her excrement.
Why is Chris using sanitary towels? Chris, why are you wasting your money on sanitary towels, Chris? You do not have a... You know what? I don't even want to go there. Moving on. I hate this. I hate every fucking second of this. This is just disgusting.
WCT told her to cherish what possessions she still had, while also reflecting on his own similar experiences. Chris then showed off her 4 wedding rings that she wore to symbolize her supposed marriages to each of her 4 spouses. The next day, she continued to reflect on her thoughts from reading Chapter 5 via a 21-tweet thread, during which she discussed whether having money truly equated to success, before moving on to revelations regarding King Arthur, Merlin the Magician, and living deities, concluding with the message that she never needed massive amounts of money in her immortally lifelong job as a goddess.
Which, again, that must have come as a bit of surprise when Chris starts living on the streets, but we haven't quite got there yet.
Later on, one of Christine's Twitter enablers wrote pensively that they wished they could do what Chris did and pretend that the people they loved that had passed away were not really dead and were actually a fucking cartoon or something. Christine dismissed the tweet, reiterating that her beliefs were fact. Kristen direct messaged the user upon reading that they were going through a bunch of losses and major shit concerning their family members, with which she empathized and felt. Chris wrote that their personal losses resulted in the enabler's spiritual upgrades and transformation. She further elaborated that the ones the enabler recently lost were removed because they no longer required them. Chris sent positive vibes and love to them through her messages to encourage self-love and self-healing.
I'm gonna make a guess. Was Chris blocked the moment that she sent this?
During this time...
Oh, okay, maybe not. Speaking of not, wasn't that a segue?
Watchmen Not, or Bismuth, got banned from Kiwi Farms by Null, the site's administrator, for using alternate accounts. When Not asked WCT if he could use his account, Not was denied access. The WCT's personal information was then leaked on the Kiwi Farms, and the WCT believed that it was Not who had doxed him using a different account. The WCT then privately urged Christine to leave the place and tried to arrange for a time they could discuss the matter over a Discord voice chat, with Chris stating that she was unavailable for the next couple of days because Barbara planned to sort out and dispose of some more boxes with her help, and Christine herself was in a lengthy period of major upgrades and transformation. On June 23rd, Christine wrote on Twitter in regards to her recent calling of her mother, Barbie-chan, because, according to Chris, Barbara told her that she did not like to be called Barb, as was commonplace within the Christorical community. Only Chris was entrusted to call her Barbie-chan, while she asked everyone else to refer to her as Barbara, not Barb. Later on, Chris-chan follower, the Sergeant-at-Arms, posted his pixel art illustration of Chris-chan across 4 stages of their life, with Christine criticizing her middle adulthood depiction's face having a too aged look. Also, the tarot card drawn for that day was schizophrenia, which Chris perceived as her followers needing to follow their heart and instinct because they felt conflicted. Possibly feeling conflicted in finding a positive outlook from the card for herself, she drew another card labeled "We Are the World" to show that she stood by her conflicted followers. On June 24th, in a rare occurrence, Christine drew the schizophrenia card again, perceiving that her audience was still feeling conflicted or that they were experiencing multiple issues. Later on, she tweeted about her opinions on conventions that she had attended, praising BronyCon and having positive
You know, going through multiple problems and stuff like that. Again, that must have come as a real big surprise to people that sort of looked at Chris or followed Chris, considering that I was working throughout the pandemic. In fact, my job during that time was specifically to make sure that nobody got sick or contracted or passed on COVID in a government building. So, yeah, I would say that there was a huge responsibility to make sure that nobody, because even if there was even one case, it would be a serious issue. So, yeah, keeping on stuff like that, stuff that actually is important. And I'd say, I'm not going to start sitting here and boasting saying I was one of the unsung heroes of the pandemic, but what I am saying is that, well, I actually did something about it, because it was either that or be back on the old rock and roll. Meanwhile, Chris is just thinking drawing cards is gonna solve things. This isn't Yu-Gi-Oh, Chris. The heart of the cards is not a real thing.
opinions of the upcoming BabsCon. She posted a photo of a handwritten page summarizing her thoughts, highlighting that her being asked to leave the too many games.
And before anybody asks, by the way, no, I don't know what Pot of Greed does either. Meanwhile, we're going back to this again. Really? Worst con in my eyes at this point. Majorly sorry, too many games, but if you had not pulled... Oh, I see, so it's their fault. Again, we're sticking to that story, are we, Chris? Go die in a fire.
Games convention in 2018 was part of a trollish setup and trap. She closed by revealing that unbeknownst to the general public, she had attended several local stamp and rock conventions, during which she felt neutral vibes. On June 25th, Chris and the WCT had a voice chat concerning drama in the Place Discord server.
Yeah, tell me, what's been going on with you? Like, with all the, Yeah, just tell me.
Well, everything continuing on with the Dimension Merge and all the other events related to, and so on and so forth, and further upgrade my body and my energy and all that. It's still a major process. And it's like my auras and my consciousness has literally been able to expand to the size of our total complete universe, and that's counting both halves, between 1218 and C197.
So can you explain to me about, like, Barbie-chan?
Oh, what? It's just Barbara,
Oh. Yeah. Oh, okay. So Barbie-chan is Barbara. Yeah. How's your mother doing?
Yeah, she's doing okay. We're doing pretty good. She actually felt like doing some work today. We had a bunch of boxes and stuff stored behind the bar, and we cleared out a bunch of the non-picturesque boxes and trash. We cleared them out. That filled up a few trash bags, and she had the energy to do it, so that was good.
The WCT then asked from Christine her history with the other members of the Watchmen, before reaching the conclusion that Knot, Kyle, and Maker had ill intentions and negative traits that she felt were undesirable. WCT also disclosed that Not was allegedly a minor member of the Miscreants' inner circle of trolls and could allegedly be heard in a mumble call with Christian from February 2009. He then showed Chris all the evidence he had collected, which apparently proved it was Not who had doxed him, in addition to chat screenshots and recorded voice chats displaying Not's animosity towards WCT and Kyle and Maker's complacency.
So, here we go.
I don't care, dude. Make a post about it on Kiwi Farms or join up with the lolcow.org people and add to my thread. I don't give a fuck.
I just want to know the truth. Like, what were you doing?
I didn't dox you, faggot.
What were you doing between...
If you keep pissing me off, I'm going to dox you.
Dude, I already have been.
No, I'm talking big boy doxing.
Wow. Just fucking wow.
Yeah, gee whiz. I mean, he could do a lot worse than Big Boy doxing, but yeah, that was definitely a level up comparison.
Chris.
Okay, I am feeling a bit of rising anger within me right now, just from hearing that and realizing that. I'm obviously trying to keep myself under control right now, but it's like my aura is between orange and red.
Now, Chris, if you want anything that, if there's anything I can really tell what to do right now, here's what I'm thinking you should do.
I'm listening.
I want you to quietly get out of the place, and I'll give you a new Discord server to let you go into where you can express yourself. In fact, because here's the thing. The Watchmen are on the brink of collapsing.
Oosh.
Like, literally, behind the scenes, it's on the brink of collapsing. Like, they don't want you to know because they sort of want to keep this long train, ongoing. And the thing is, Chris, this is my philosophy regarding you, all right? Even though I may disagree with the things you may do, you are your own person. You are a full-grown adult. And you should never, ever let anybody dictate your activities.
Right on.
Don't let Megan, don't let Nova, don't let Bismuth, dictate anything that you do. Don't listen to them. You're better than that, right?
No.
Yes. Well, among which, definitely surprising to my conscious and mindset and whatnot, but then also kind of rather expected because I foresaw events like this, and I had a deja vu moment just a minute ago, literally while you were talking. I see the signs. Everything's continuing on as foreseen, planned, destined, and everything. So
you foresaw this happening.
Yeah, but it's been saved in my backup save files. It was not in my conscious.
Chris, by any means, does this remind you of anything that has happened to you in the past, on the internet?
Yeah, obviously, you could say I was doxxed a number of times before, but that was tame compared to all this, because obviously everything about me was already on the internet. I mean, hell, you remember when Mr. C was like, "Hey, we live I go to Burger King every morning about 9 a.m. So if you want to talk to us, come on down. We'll be happy to talk with you over a cup of coffee."
All right, Chris, I'm going to let you go. I hope you have a good night, and pray for me, man.
Continue strong, my fierce lion messenger.
Thank you.
I wonder what's going to happen.
You rock so much, and I give you lots of love.
Thank you.
All right, well, I'll let you go. You be safe.
You too. Have a good night, Chris.
You too. And we'll talk again soon enough.
I hope.
In the aftermath of the call, the WCT invited Christine, Anaxis, and a number of other former Watchmen and friends to a new Discord server called the Knights of Quick, which functioned much in the same way as the place, but with the intention of excluding toxic and manipulative individuals such as Not, Maker, and Kyle. Christine then discussed Not with Null, who he recognized as a certain quote-unquote mentally ill anime person who he recently had to ban from Kiwi Farms. Chris agreed and stated her distrust of also Kyle and Maker and her intention to quietly leave the place. Null warned her against joining Discord servers, as they were usually bringers of drama. Null then offered to help her find some kind of outlet for talking to her fans. Possibly at around this time, Christine also told Null of her intentions of attending the Ever-Free Northwest convention in Washington state, which she would travel to by car. Null was against this idea and offered to financially help her get there by plane instead. On June 26th, Null posted on the forums about Chris's plan to attend. Since she had already purchased a pass for the event and booked a hotel room, he asked forum members for what means of fundraising could be created to help her pay for her flight itinerary. He pondered whether a GoFundMe campaign through which Chris would fulfill paid commissions to pay for her trip would be feasible, with many forum members replying with disdain and ridicule. Also,
J. Clay Rowling. I like that.
on that day, Christine posted her last message in the place, writing that the dimension merge was progressing well and that more toxic individuals within her view range became identified. She told the Watchmen that they should get ready for a battle within the ranks, and encouraged all to embrace honesty and enlightenment. She then left the server, along with Caden of Praetor. Perhaps understanding that the WCT may have had a hand at Chris's leaving, WCT was promptly ousted from the place.
What's going on?
At around this time, Chris purchased the book
no.
The Ultimate Guide to Sex and Disability, which encouraged people with disabilities to become more open about expressing their sexual desires, exploring fetishes, and not being tied down to notions of normal or abnormal attraction.
Now, I'm going to be getting into this, not the book, but for those who may have forgotten, Noel posted like a live stream back when shit hit the fan, and one thing that stands out from that stream, I'll do a video about it myself, but Noel basically goes on to say, oh god, what was it that he said? Oh yes, it's that in hindsight, this is a book not for the ultimate guide to sex and disability. It's more like a guide to have sex with people who are disabled. So thank you, Miriam Kaufman, Corey Silverberg, and Fran Odette for inadvertently provoking this sort of behavior. And yes, the way Noel puts it, it's kind of hard to disprove this, but let's keep rolling.
Christine later claimed that on June 27th, she had sex with her mother Barbara for the first time. It is currently unknown how consensual the incestuous act was, as on some occasions, Chris stated that her mother was initially confused and rejected her advances, while on others, she implied her mother encouraged the intercourse. Possibly literally interpreting a passage in the Guide to Sex book concerning the need for careful planning, Chris would proceed to have sex with her mother once every 3 days. On June 28th, a user on 4chan posted a couple of photos from his visit to Christine's house, claiming he had left for her a bottle of orange Fanta, some fan art, and $20. He then played the flute in front of Chris's dog, Patty Chandler's doghouse, for 20 minutes, during which time Chris allegedly peeked at him through her window. On June 29th, Maker Nightv libelously tweeted that the WCT was a clout-chasing YouTuber who wanted Christine to kill herself, like his YouTube video subject Randy Stair had. She further claimed that he had teamed up with Praetor, further spreading the falsehood that Praetor wanted Chris to tase herself. On July 1st, Christine messaged Maker, telling her that she saw Maker's true ways, placing her into a group she dubbed the Toxic Trio, which...
Oh, by the way, yes, take note of that date, July 1st. It is almost time.
Also included Knot and Kyle. Chris highlighted that she noticed certain members of the Watchmen were kicked out of the group because they threatened the trio's way of doing things, which included talks of racism, Nazi shit, and other topics which reeked of toxic vibrations. This included sending a threat to Annabelle of Praetor, who fortunately did not read it. Chris further wrote that she was taking care of Maker's original characters and formally parted ways with her. Maker wrote back that she would not apologize for her dark and cringy sense of humor because she had led a difficult life, and that she had called the WCT a faggot because she felt he was trying to use Christine to become famous. She stated she would welcome Chris back after the WCT and his accomplices have abused her. Christine replied that she sensed Maker was insecure about herself and encouraged her to be honest and confident in herself, detailing that she did not need Chris or anyone else to boost her morale. Maker Nightview once more wrote that she needed Christine in her life to get better, while Chris once again told her that she needed to reevaluate her relationship with herself and heal herself. On July 2nd, Chris revealed to the WCT that she was feeling better about herself sexually because she had recently gotten a sex partner from Dimension 1218 that was very satisfactory, who apparently shared her genuine affection. Christine kept her identity a secret, but described her as physically older than herself, considerably fragile, but with great inner strength and power. She later stated that they had known each other for a while and had sought her out after being encouraged to do so by her allied deities. Christine restated that her partner wanted her as well. She said that her lover lived not far from her and visited and talked with each other often. She told WCT that she wanted the relationship to be kept a secret as to avoid toxic and demeaning comments saying how wrong it was.
To avoid saying how wrong it was. So, Chris, this WCT should have interpreted this as saying, well, hang on a second. Why do you say that, you know what, why are you, as long as it feels right and well and good? Well, from your point of view, Chris, but that's not really telling the full story. Is that it's always been a thing, and I'm gonna be completely honest and blunt, guys, when I say this. So if you're not interested in that, well, how did you even find this video? But listen, whenever you hear anybody say stuff like, as long as it feels right, well, and good, it may, to the person, to Chris, it may feel that way, but just because it feels right does not necessarily mean it's lawfully right, or even in a neutral sort of sense right. It does, just because Chris, again, we heard this say this before earlier in this video, just because Chris says it is does not make it true. And that's the other thing I need to like bear in mind, is that just because, well, again, let's just rewind this a little bit just so we can hear it again.
With each other often. She told WCT that she wanted the relationship to be kept a secret as to avoid toxic and demeaning comments saying how wrong it was.
Yeah, so, well, listen, try to form a relationship with an older woman. There's nothing to be ashamed of that. But because we know which older woman it is, we know fine well exactly what the fallout was going to be. Because there's no other way of getting around it when you say stuff like that. It leads to the impression that Chris, because nobody would have had an issue whatsoever if it was an older woman that Chris was in a relationship with. That is not even, nobody would have bothered about that whatsoever. But it's when Chris starts saying that she knows fully well that there's going to be backlash from this. That's the sort of thing where you begin to realize, well, there's something not quite right going on. Because, why? Listen, keeping your partner's identity a secret, that's one thing. Trying to say that other people are going to form an opinion about it if they found out, well, why? That is. You put yourself right in it when you say stuff like that.
The next day, Chris showed the WCT a new massage oil, which she and her mystery partner both liked to use on each other. Also on that day, to contribute to recent meme ara ara, a phrase sultrily uttered by Japanese women, Chris recorded an audio clip for Twitter of herself uttering the phrase.
Ara ara. Ara, ara, lots of love.
That's creepy as fuck.
Ara.
Maybe that's what it means.
On July 4th, Chris tweeted a celebratory message to commemorate the Independence Day of the United States of America, warning those living in hot areas of firework-related accidents. On the 5th, Chris and WCT had a voice chat in the Knights of Quick Discord server, but it was not recorded by any party. During the conversation, they discussed general topics such as the Funko line of collectible figures and the Matrix film franchise. Christine also told him that Caden of Prater was planning on helping her buy a PC so she could use it for live streaming and earning more money. They also once again discussed Chris's unknown lady friend, with Chris still withholding her identity and giving her only basic descriptions. Also on that day, Christine wrote to Null about her new lover, telling him that since she was older than her, their relationship was like something out of an anime or fanfiction. Chris said that she used a condom for safety and had a doctor's appointment on the 20th of the month to test for sexually transmitted diseases. She declared she no longer believed in hindering labels and started the relationship after much deep thought. When Null asked her for a photo of them together, she declined sharing them, revealing that her partner was in the over 50s in
A picture of this girl, by the way, woof, is what Chris starts as. Maybe Chris really is a furry, but maybe that's the one thing I can... I was skeptical about that of all things earlier. Now I'm beginning to think, yeah, maybe Chris really is.
Age, and that she had gotten a book for helpful information and guidance. Christine expressed great appreciation in her lover's life, like her fun days in high school and her work as an accountant. She informed Null that she had also told the WCT and Warhol Chris Chan author Don Lasham that she had a new sex partner, but all of them knew as little details as Null did. Chris revealed that they had their quote-unquote romps in the sack every 3 nights, which was something her partner apparently looked forward to, and their sex play made her grateful since they could explore things never before tried with her previous partners. Null encouraged Christine to keep it a secret and not reveal she had a girlfriend even to her most trusted friends. Christine promised that she would not tell of her relationship to anybody else. On June 6th, the WCT's YouTube channel received a strike as one of his videos on Randy Stair was removed for alleged bullying and harassment. He believed that he was being mass-reported by Knot in retaliation and so set his YouTube channel to private, filed an appeal, and re-uploaded all his videos to another channel in the meantime. Chris voiced her annoyance by leaving a YouTube comment on another video, telling readers that the series was fairly tame and very informative. On the 7th, Chris sent to Null a drawing of Kiwi Mac, a pony character based on Null, which she intended to make into a Twilight Sparkles secret chipfic folder card. She then wrote a string of messages brainstorming the flavored text she would put on the finalized card design. The drawing was done to be used as an example of what a custom drawing may look like if a willing donor paid to her fundraiser for the flight to the Brony convention, which was formally launched on July 9th, and further advertised by Chris via a YouTube video.
Hello everybody, this is Christine Chandler coming to you live from home once again. I'll give you a captain's log, stardate 7/8/2021. There you go. Just an old time callback. But anyway, I am recording this today of one particular, very important, insightful interest.
But please bear in mind, guys, is that this is the face of a person who is having incestuous relationships with their own mother and is gleefully boasting about it. In secret, yes, but it's boasting nonetheless. Bear that in mind, and people are expected to raise money for Chris to get to Seattle. Bear that in mind when you hear the Chris talk for the rest of the video. Just saying.
Everfree Northwest, over in the state of Washington, over in Bellevue. Yes, I am going to be there. And I'm looking forward to meeting you all there, but though I am partially set up, I'm gonna need like a few more dollars to make sure I'm still covered for everything else I'm gonna need over the lovely weekend. Lovely weekend. Anyway, so I got a lovely guy who's helping me out, keep my money organized and situated and everything. There'll be a GoFundMe by the time this video is uploaded, and you'll be able to donate to that directly. He's managing it, and he's gonna do a very good job. I have faith in this guy. I have faith in him. I wouldn't throw a kiwi at him or anything. But anyway, I got my gator for in case I need to corrupt. But I got the most important ticket, this convention ticket. And got my lovely gloves. Lovely, lovely, lovely gloves. Keep my fingers flipper. Touch, 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 touch.
No, but shut up, Chris. Just shut up.
Nah, that's on my phone, though, obviously. I mean, it's gonna be an awesome time. I'm looking forward to meeting everybody, seeing the old favorite people that I like, you know, from my favorite analysts and other people I got to know over the past year or two through their videos, binging them and whatnot. Got a few more favorites in mind. And just looking forward to meeting all of you lovely people who are going to be there, my fans and just art appreciators and aficionados and everything. But yeah, I'm approachable. Hugs are free. Only making sure you're fully vaccinated, though, so make sure you show the guys at the door your convention ticket. Alright, so aside from that, yeah, I need a few bucks, like a few extra thousand, to help me.
A few extra. You went from a few more dollars to a few extra thousand. Fuck that, Chris. How about you pay me instead of having to listen to this horse shit?
With the weekend for food, for additional details and transportation and hotel, additional details, mind you, and just whatever else. Yeah, a little bit of swag. I want to be able to share a little bit for the arts as well. Hey, I'm an artist, and I appreciate and support all other artists, okay? They're insightful. They're linked to the other dimensions as much as I am, if not on matching levels, because I'm overpowered, obviously. But anyway, so, Everfree Northwest. I'm hoping to see y'all there, and I'm looking forward to meeting such lovely new people and seeing lovely old people again. I don't mean olders and elderly, though. They need compassion and respect too, mind you. Aside from that, Everfree Northwest, come on down and give me a hand to get there, please. I am heavy at work at this time, but at the convention, I'm gonna have a good time, and I'm gonna be even more busy. So, I'm looking forward to seeing y'all there. I'd like a hand. Thank you very much.
Over on the fundraising site GoFundMe, the campaign, as organized by Joshua Moon, or Null, was set with a goal of $1,000, with $750 set to reimburse an already purchased round-trip flight, and the remainder for additional expenses. For $40, fans could request from Christine either a video shoutout or a custom drawing. The fundraiser was also advertised over Twitter, where one follower expressed concern over the fact that Chris's former love interest and occultism consultant, Jacob Sockness, had expressed interest in meeting her at the convention. Christine wrote back that she was aware of the threat and claimed to have plans to have an entourage of protectors around her. Another Twitter user asked for organizers of Everfree Northwest to preemptively ban Christine due to her apparent association with Kiwi Farms, which apparently was responsible for the deaths of numerous people. On July 10th, Chris posted on Twitter one of her drawing commissions, a reference to a short scene from the animated TV series The Simpsons, depicting farming supply store Sneed's Feed and Seed, formerly Chuck's, punishingly implying when the store was under the aforementioned Chuck's ownership, the supplies on offer would have followed his name's rhyming scheme, with the full name of the store being Chuck's Fucking Suck. In Chris's illustration, the store had been gravely run down, as allegedly seen in C-197, and mentioned the Twitter account of Simpsons creator Matt Groening, soliciting his opinion. On July 11th, Christine tweeted that she had a change of heart and reinvestigated the appearance of a background pony character in an episode of My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic, which some believed was an homage, appearance-wise, to Chris Chan, a concept that she had years before dismissed. She asked episode writer Brittany Jo Flores, voice actress Tara Strong, and Hasbro whether or not the pony was truly based on her, requesting a direct reply from them. She also shared a new drawing depicting Chris Chan Sonichu asking the polo-wearing bespectacled pony whether he was based on Chris Chan. Afterwards, in response to an open question from a Twitter user asking if someone would have sex with an opposite gender version of themselves, Chris wrote in reply, "Personally, I would have sex with my gender-bent opposite."
No, you know what? I doubt that. Chris, you are. I don't think. Do you think Chris would have been attracted to it? No, I doubt that.
And I'd even do it with a clone of myself. But it still remains on the mood, and if the feeling is mutual. In my interdimensional experiences, it's been positive and successful about 5 to 10% of the time. Later on, Christine asked if there were any available and willing, capable, and inexpensive costume designers who could manufacture for her a costume to have her dress up as her ultimate super form for the upcoming convention. She directed designers to her Gmail email address that was being managed by Null, who she referred to as her loving and awesome partner. Christian Enabler, Righteous for Quick, offered his design for a one-piece spandex suit, which Christine was keen on pursuing further. Finally, Chris posted on Instagram and Facebook 2 photos of Barbara after she had gotten a haircut from Chris. Chris commented that it looked really good. From the outset, Christine's life seemed to have taken a positive turn. With Null's help, she and her followers saw just how much of an active fan base Chris still had, and just how many were willing to help her reach her life goals, with some, perhaps quietly, expecting trouble to follow her in her new adventures. However, no one could have predicted how her life would soon be dramatically altered forever.
It's just that creepy, buggy 1,000-yard stare that constantly just, it's so in your face. And by the way, I did realize Luca Jin was at Too Many Games. How about that? Shout out to Luca Jin, by the way. I think also one of the absolute best VTubers that I follow and stuff like that. Just saying. Right, okay, so that was it, guys. That's the end of part 84. And honestly, considering I did not actually anticipate that I would be as angry as I was watching that, because honestly, there was a lot we talked about in that episode, and honestly, a lot that maybe with the benefit of hindsight, I wish I didn't have to talk about. Mostly because despite Chris's ignorance, despite Chris's arrogance, despite Chris's lack of rationale, despite Chris's so apparent lack of common sense in light of everything that she was told would happen, Chris still continues to act like an absolute idiot in all of this. And honestly, I think it really has got to the point where just listening to this is like low key very. It's just it went. I think I described last time. It went from pseudo to it's actually starting to become pretty annoying. But now that we are basically on the home stretch, we haven't just looked beyond the looking glass. We are on the other side in Wonderland, but there is nothing wonderful going on. It's horrible. There's no way to put it. If this is what C-197 is meant to look like, I think it is literally a depiction into hell. And by the way, guys, we are not even done yet. That's the horrifying part about this. Now, in part 85, I was considering for maybe a bit of a while, because here's the thing. I'm just going to showcase to you guys something right here. You see this right here? Part 85 is an hour and 12 minutes. It's about double the length of an episode of Chris Chan. So you would probably be suspecting at this point that it is going to be about like double the length that I would do. But then again, sitting here for 3 hours talking about the entire, well, the end of Christry is, well, it's going to be we're going to actually do things a little bit differently for Part 85, because what I'm actually going to do is that I'm going to break down the video into segments as we go along. So for like the first 20 minutes, unless there's anything substantial, and then it's like for the next 10 minutes, if there's anything we need to like discuss thoroughly, we will do. And basically I'm just going to splice them together. So it's going to be an episode of Chris Chan that is going to basically surmount to having to talk everything in as much thorough detail as you could possibly imagine. Because bear in mind, this is a comprehensive history, so therefore this may as well be a comprehensive reaction, if you will, to the whole process. Also, by the time we finish Part 85, here's a short little update on how the fan made, well, my made Part 86 is going. We're about halfway through it, but considering that a lot of the story is gonna, well, of Part 86 is gonna consist of like reading letters and, well, having to stay as new. It's surprising that how neutral I have to like stay throughout the entire process, but then again, that's the whole point. And I think a lot of my effort is going towards the actual like fan-made opening I did from it, because whilst it's not going to be quite like Gino's, I may as well do something from it, because it is a fan-made. It's more of a passion project, if you will. But what do you suppose the odds will be that the day I upload is when Gino uploads Part 86? That would be kind of funny. If actually speaking of Gino, what I might actually do is that I might send him the very first when the video is made. I think I'll let him see it first just to hear what he thinks. And then we'll take it from there, because I think I owe it to Gino a little bit. In fact, we all owe it to Gino for this existing. Less so for Chris, because some people would say that when it comes to Chris, the less we know, the better. But then again, once you start knowing everything, you literally can't stop. And finally, well, this is the part where I'd say, things can only get better, but they don't. And there's only one person to blame from this, and we will get to that very, very soon. So take care, everyone, and bye-bye for now.